Hi there Star Wars collectors, and welcome to another Bossk's Bounty video. Welcome to episode 90 of Ask Bossk's Bounty. You know the drill by now. This is the weekly series that drops every Sunday where you ask me questions in the comment section below and I'll do my very best to answer them each week. If you do have a question for next week's episode, please leave it in those comments section and hopefully you will be featured. Before we do get on to this week's questions, I do have a couple of things that I do want to go over with you. One of which is an amazing giveaway, truly an amazing giveaway. So I've been given the opportunity to do this, so stick around for more details of that in just a second. The first thing I wanted to do is just thank Rick from Leftcoast Graphics, because I actually received this in the post yesterday to my PO box from Leftcoast Graphics, and I hadn't ordered anything from him, so I did wonder what it was. So let's just quickly check out what this is. Okay, so in the envelope was a little letter and it says, "For you and little Bossk, one to wear and one to display. Cheers, Rick. Collect them all." And what he has sent me is these awesome little pin badges of Bossk here. It says 2 in there, 1 for me, and 2 in there. 1 little packet for little Bossk. And then these little awesome card backs. Again, 1 for little Bossk, 1 for me. And what you do is you take one of those pins out and you stick them on there, and then you've got like a mock-up of a vintage figure. If you don't know who Leftcoast Graphics are, they do awesome stuff like this. They do t-shirts. I've got a Bossk t-shirt with the vintage on there. Some really, really awesome stuff. So check out his Instagram and also check out his Etsy store. You won't be disappointed the things that you've got on there. He'll have all your favourite characters and what have you. So thank you so much for that, Rick. It's actually my birthday in a couple of weeks' time, so I'm going to count these as a birthday present. So thank you so much, my friend. All right, so before we get on to the questions, this giveaway that I was talking about. So if you want to be entered into the giveaway, there's 3 things you need to do. You need to subscribe to the channel. You need to leave a comment, preferably with a question in this video. And you also need to like the video. Okay, so you need to hit that little thumbs up. And what you could win is one of these. Now this is an R2-D2 mini projector, and I actually reviewed this a couple of months ago, so if you haven't seen that review, check it out. It's a portable projector, it's awesome, and I've actually got one of these to give away, which is fantastic. They retailed at, I believe, $699, so they're not cheap. The technology in them is very, very good, high quality images and what have you, made by Nebula in this like Coke can style, with in the style of R2-D2, which, you know, for any Star Wars fan is pretty awesome. So they contacted me and said, how would you like to give one of these away on your channel? And why not? Why not offer it to you guys? I'm sure you'd like to win this. And if you don't happen to win it, they've also given me a discount code. So there is a link in the description below of this video where you can go and buy one of these if you wanted to, and they're actually $100 off the retail value at the moment, but also if you use Bossk R2-D2 you can also get another $100 off. So there you go. I think that's a pretty awesome giveaway. You know, if you're a regular viewer of this channel, you know I do giveaways every now and then, but I think this giveaway is, you know, definitely the thing that's got the most value attached to it. And it's an awesome prize for anyone that wants to try and win that. So make sure you like the video, make sure you're subscribed, and leave a comment below, preferably a question that I can actually pick as a question for next week's episode. And you could be in the chance to win this. Not this one, you'll be getting a brand new one in the box. This one's mine. So yeah. Good luck, everybody. Alright then, so with all that being said, if you happen to enjoy this video, don't forget to drop a like down below, and let's get straight on to the first question. And we have 2 questions along the same theme, so I'm going to show both of them on the screen now. First up, we have 1980s and Star Wars guy, and he says, as the 2003 Clone Wars are getting figures in the vintage collection, would we get a Droids and Ewoks line in the vintage collection? And Geek Strong, who has got an awesome YouTube channel, by the way, says, great video, brother. With all the exclusive 50th anniversary figures, do you think Hasbro will release the original animated figures for Ewoks or Droids as the 50th anniversary figures? So before last week, I possibly thought that they wouldn't really do that. I mean, you know, Droids and Ewoks figures, how exactly would they do that? However, if you watch the video that I dropped during the week, the backs of the cards of those new Clone Wars figures has been shown, and on the back of that, the Lucasfilm timeline now has droids on there, which suggests to me in one of the lines that we're going to get a droids figure. Now, could it be a Black Series figure in the style of those card backs from the droids Kenner line? They've done it with the Power of the Force figures, they've done it with the Episode 1 figures, and of course they've done it with those Clone Wars figures with the ARC Trooper Echo and things like that. So would they do it with the droids as well in the 6-inch line? Or could it be something for the vintage collection? Who knows, maybe a Boba Fett or something, repainted Boba Fett from the animated show. Or could they potentially do a retro collection card? I could see that with the original Boba Fett. They've already got the figure. Stick him on the droids card. Retro collection, Bob's your uncle. You've got an instant hit. So in answer to both of those questions, I do now think it's completely possible just purely because they've put droids on that timeline on the back of the card. Segmented Sanctum says, hey Bossk, I love your content, man. Question for next week. Is the newly announced 2D Clone Wars ARC Trooper Red getting a new VC number, or will it be a re-release of VC54? Well, having that question has given me the chance to put VC54 on the screen here. What a fantastic card back and figure this one is. Captain Fordo, absolutely amazing figure. And yeah, you're right, he is VC54. So the question is, will they keep that number? And the answer is no, they won't. It's a different figure, painted slightly different. And of course, it's on that animated style card back, and we've actually got the numbers for those card backs now, which I mentioned in that video, exactly the same video with the droids on the back of the card back. So check that video out. Not everybody got to see that video. Sometimes YouTube doesn't push out all the videos to everybody, so if you're subscribed, check out the channel and you'll see that video on there where I show you the card backs of the new figures, the new Clone Wars figures. Now, if you haven't seen the latest episode of the Bad Batch, potential spoiler alert, so I will say that right now. And Nickapoo Ninja says, okay, I have a simple question this time. Do you think we'll ever get a Republic Commando in TVC? And judging by the episode that we've just seen, I think it is much more likely than it was before that episode aired. And in fact, I think we got a guy that looked incredibly like this guy in that episode. So this is Scorch. There was some Republic Commandos in there, some standard white ones, but there was also this guy. And so yeah, I think there's every possibility we could see that in the future, my friend. Hamish Lipscomb says, great video as always, Boss Bounty. Tim, do you think, since the Star Wars 3.75-inch exclusive Emperor Palpatine set got revealed, do you think next year they will do the Imperial Dignitary Sim Alu action figure? The only thing I can say, mate, is I hope so. I can't say whether they will or they won't, but I really do hope so. He's part of the 96, of course, so why not? Stephen Novak says, hi Tim, do you buy the retro collection? And if you do, would you like to see them do retro collection playsets and vehicles? Keep up the good work. So yes, I do buy the retro collection. Are they my favourite thing in the world? I've got to be honest, they're not. Do I wish they didn't exist? No, I wouldn't go that far. But I'm not really too bothered either way if they start doing vehicles and playsets. I personally think I'd rather them not do that. Take focus away from, you know, this sort of thing. Concentrate on the super articulated modern stuff and leave the vintage stuff to the vintage. You know, if you want a playset or a mini rig or something from the vintage era, they're not too expensive to get like a unboxed version. So I'm not really sure about that, no. Rob S722 says, great stuff as always, love the content. Question for next week, other than Bossk, what is your favourite Star Wars character and how many of that character do you have? Thanks and keep up the great work. This is a difficult question because there's so many great characters that I like. Of course, you've got all the original heroes, Han Solo when I was a kid. I've got a real soft spot for Chewie. Absolutely love the character of Chewie. And of course, Luke Skywalker. Who doesn't like Luke Skywalker? I mean, if you're a Star Wars fan of any age, you've got to like Luke Skywalker. It's, you know, pretty much Star Wars is Luke Skywalker, right? But for this video, I'm going to pick Darth Vader. I think Darth Vader is the main bad guy, the main villain, one of the best villains in any franchise. And I have a lot of Vaders, like I'm sure a lot of you guys listening to this have. I have many vintage ones loose. I have this one on this card back, which is one of my favourite card backs ever from Return of the Jedi. Fantastic image of Vader. Of course, they use that card back in the vintage collection as well. For the final figure in the vintage collection 1.0 VC115, where the Darth Vader's getting electrocuted and everything, you know, amazing card back. And just in terms of 3.75-inch modern figures, I've got loads of Vaders. I'm sure you all have, you know. You can never get enough Vaders. B. Brigman says, question for next week, do you think Hasbro rehashes trademarks with VC the same way they do for trademarks with other collections? For example, with the Transformers, every 4 years we get rehashed trademarks of new molds, which is why we get Optimus, Megatron, Bumblebee, etc. every few years. Thank you so much for your posts. Really enjoy them. So I think Star Wars is a little bit different in that it's forever evolving. We're getting new content all of the time. Having said that, every few years you're going to get a Vader. You're going to get a Luke Skywalker of some description. you can never really have an action figure line of Star Wars without some of the main characters at some point, which is why, as I alluded to in my previous question, I've got so many Vaders, because they're always releasing a Vader of some description every couple of years, and that's absolutely fine with me. I think it's good for the health of the line. You need those characters. General Grievous says, question for next week. Do you think they will ever make a single release Black Series Salacious Crumb? Never say never, but I think he's probably a little bit small to be released by himself. I think you'll always get him with Jabba. If they ever redo Jabba again, you'll probably get a Salacious Crumb. Maybe you'll see another Jabba the Hutt and Salacious Crumb when they do the HasLab Rancor, you know, to go side by side with that. Maybe they'll re-release it or something. Ryan Byrne says, if you could pick one figure from TVC 2.0 that you think will blow up in price in the next year or so, which one do you think it will be? My pick is Dr. Aphra. Yeah, Dr. Aphra's a good one, because if and when, and I think it's inevitable, that they will do a live action Dr. Aphra, I'm pretty sure that they will make her into live action. And then the minute she goes into live action, then yeah, that figure will go up in price. And also that 3-pack as well, because the 2 droids, you can only get those 2 droids in that pack. So that might start going up in value, I would think. Apart from that, of course, you've got the tank Commando, who's already over $100, over £100 here in the UK as well. And then possibly R2-D2. Again, that's another one that I just think has gone up in value. And also, you might think I'm mad for saying this, but those Rise of Skywalker figures, maybe like Zori Bliss or something, you know, I think they were underproduced anyway. Okay, not as many people may be after those, but I could see those in maybe 5 years' time being a bit of a rarity. Tony J says, great video as always. Question for next week. What are your top 3 Stormtrooper variants? I think I would go for the Hoth Snowtrooper, Biker Scout and Death Trooper, but lots of good options. Yeah, all troopers are pretty good, aren't they? The design of them has always been fantastic, but for me, it's the original trilogy. You can't beat these 3 Stormtroopers, in my opinion. Am I allowed to pick him? Because you did say variants of him. I've picked him anyway. And also, you've got to love a clone trooper as well. They're quality. Major Camo says, keep up the great work, Tim. Do you think that TVC focusing on new media could ever see a pack of Director Krennic and his ensemble of different Death Troopers? I'm not too sure about a pack of that. I mean, I would just take Director Krennic on a single card right now. I think he's a massive, massive miss from the vintage collection, especially from that Rogue One lineup. He's the main baddie, really, isn't he? I'm not too sure about a pack of them with different Death Troopers. I can't really see them doing that. Horror Fan says, question for next week. Are there any specific original vintage figures that you are looking for? Absolutely. There's still quite a few that I need from the last 17. There's some easier ones to find, like Rees and the Rebel Commando, things like that. Ones that are pretty easy to pick up. But we do have Echo Live on Saturday, which I'm attending. And I can't wait to meet anyone that's turning up to that. Come and say hello if you recognise me or whatever. So hopefully some of those holes in my collection of those loose figures will be filled at Echo Live. Palpatine 1975 has quite a long question here, but the crux of it is that basically, do I think that the HasLab Rancor will use the hyperreal technology that they had with that Darth Vader and the Luke Skywalker, which they've sort of forgotten about now? And my answer to that is I'm not really too sure about that, because those 2 figures had a few complaints in terms of the quality. I think they started cracking, the rubber started cracking, the paint started flaking off. And that may be why they don't do those anymore. So I think if they are going to do the Rancor like that and make him really ultra realistic and, you know, every part of him can move, then they need to sort out that technology of the silicone and the paint and everything like that. So my guess is that it'll just be plastic with, you know, articulated joints, but we'll have to wait and see what they do. Ignacio says, question for next week. Hey Bossk, I have a question about the newly revealed Captain Rex figure from the Bad Batch Amazon exclusive 4-pack. I was just wondering whether you think that the visor will be removable from the helmet of the Captain Rex figure. I think that if you would kit bash the shoulder pauldron of the 2020 re-release Captain Rex figure into the Bad Batch Rex with the visor on, it would make the perfect Captain Rex in 3.75 inch scale. I think you're right. I think you can do that. The pauldron that he comes with was done on concept art and might not be correct to the source material now. And as for the visor being removable, this, yeah, I want to get one of those in hand to see exactly how that works, because judging by the pictures is that it is removable, but then it leaves the little pin on the side of his head where it sort of wraps around and clips on, which is not good. It should be a hole that it clips into like it has been on previous versions. So we'll have to wait and see what it does with that. Ideally, you want to be able to take that visor off without it looking silly, but without having it in hand and just looking at promo shots, we can't be totally sure what it's going to be like. Kai the Crusader says, question for next week, do you think they'll do a Bad Batch Shuttle? They could put in Omega. Oh man, that would be cool. I would like them to do that, but I think first and foremost we need the Bad Batch figures, don't we, really, in the vintage collection before they start thinking about the vehicles. Vehicles are in short supply in general in the vintage collection, especially ones that need a whole new tooling, a new sculpt. So I'd have to say at this moment in time I don't think they will, but if the series and the program keeps gaining in popularity and people buy the Bad Batch figures, and if they do the Bad Batch, actual Bad Batch figures, Clone Force 99 in the vintage collection, and people buy lots of those, then it becomes more probable. Alright then guys, that's it for this week. Don't forget to comment down below if you want to be in with a chance to win the R2-D2 projector. Absolutely awesome giveaway this, so good luck to everyone that wants to try and win this. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you to all my Patreon supporters that joined me on our private live stream the other day and were watching as well. So thank you so much for that. If you want to be a Patreon supporter, link is in the description below. Thank you for all the support of the channel. I love you all, and we shall see you on the next one.